Welcome to The Explainer, where we make the complicated simple. Today we are diving deep into a system that honestly trips up countless people planning for retirement, the Social Security Retirement Earnings Test, and specifically what it's going to look like in 2026.
So, picture this. You're ready to leave the 9-to-5 grind, but you're not exactly ready to stop working completely. Maybe you want to consult, take on a few projects, and, start collecting those Social Security benefits you've earned. Sounds like the perfect plan, right? Well, there's a system you absolutely have to know about called the Retirement Earnings Test, or RET for short.
Okay, let's get into it. It really feels like a paradox, doesn't it? You want to keep working, but it seems like the government penalizes you for it if you claim benefits before your full retirement age. But why does this rule even exist? It's really kind of a throwback, designed way back when to make sure benefits went to people who were truly done with work, not just supplementing their income. So think of it less like a penalty and more like an old-school verification system.
For 2026, this is the number you need to burn into your brain. If you're going to be under your full retirement age for the entire year, this is your earnings limit. Earn just $1 over this, and the whole system kicks in.
And here is exactly how that system works. Let's be super clear. This is not a tax. It's a direct withholding. For every $2 you earn over that limit, the Social Security Administration holds back $1 of your benefits. It's a simple formula that can get really costly if you're not ready for it.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because it's like there are two different rule books, and it all depends on your birthday. If you'll be reaching your full retirement age sometime during 2026, you get a much, much higher limit. We're talking over $65,000 and a way more generous withholding rate of $1 for every 3 you earn over. And remember, that higher limit only counts your earnings in the months before you actually hit your FRA.
Okay, so this whole withholding thing naturally leads to one giant fear. The question I hear all the time. Is that money just gone? Does it just vanish forever because you decided to work?
This is the number one myth we've got to bust. People see that money disappear from their checks and they think it's a tax, a permanent penalty. The source material actually calls it ghost money, and for good reason. It feels like it just vanishes into thin air. But, and this is a big but, the reality is so much better.
The secret to getting your money back has a wonderfully nerdy name, the Adjustment of Reduction Factor, or ARF. Don't let the government speak scare you. The easiest way to think about it is this. The SSA is just keeping an IOU. They aren't taking your money, they're just holding it to give back to you later in a really, really useful way.
So how does this ghost money come back from the great beyond? It's actually pretty simple. First, they withhold the benefits while you're working before your FRA. Then, the moment you hit your full retirement age, the Social Security Administration does a little recalculation. And then, poof, your monthly benefit check gets a permanent raise for the rest of your life. They bake those withheld dollars right back into all your future payments.
Okay, so we've busted the biggest myth. The money isn't gone forever. Fantastic! But that doesn't mean you're totally in the clear. The real danger isn't losing the money, it's getting tangled up in the tricky rules the SSA uses to decide if you're actually retired. This is where so many smart people get tripped up. All right, here's a clever strategy that sounds like it should work, but it doesn't. Say you earn a consulting fee, and to stay under the limit, you tell your client to pay a charity directly. Smart, right? Nope. This runs into a legal idea called the fruit and tree doctrine. Basically, it means that once your work, the tree, has produced income, the fruit, it's considered yours. You had control over it, so it counts towards your earnings limit, even if you never physically touch the cash.
Now, this next trap is even sneakier, especially for folks like consultants, lawyers, or doctors. The SSA looks beyond your bank account. They want to know if you're providing substantial services. And get this, it is entirely possible for them to decide you are not retired in a given month, even if you earned $0.
So how do they decide? Well, it really comes down to hours. Work less than 15 hours a month, you're probably fine. Work more than 45 hours, and yeah, they're almost certainly going to say you're not retired that month, no matter what your income was. That middle zone, between 15 and 45 hours, that's the real gray area, especially if you're in a highly skilled profession.
And let's just bust one more quick myth, the HSA trap. Putting money into a health savings account is a fantastic move to lower your taxable income for the IRS. But for the retirement earnings test, it does absolutely nothing. The SSA only cares about your gross wages, that top-line number, before any of those clever deductions come out.
All right, after all those warnings and all those traps, let's talk about the master stroke. There is one powerful, time-sensitive tool that works like a strategic escape hatch. But here's the catch. You only get to use it once.
It's often called the grace year, and it's for your very first year of receiving benefits. It basically tells the SSA to put on blinders and ignore your total annual earnings. Instead, they look at your retirement status 1 month at a time. This means you could literally earn $200,000 from January to November, officially retire in December, and still get a full Social Security check for that month. It's a game changer.
So, to qualify for a check during one of these grace months in 2026, you just have to pass a monthly test. If you're an employee, you have to earn less than this monthly limit, $2,040, or if you're self-employed, you just can't provide those substantial services we just talked about. Pass either one of those tests for the month, and you're golden.
And this is where timing becomes your absolute superpower. I mean, just look at this. If you retire from your big job in December, you get just one month of this incredible flexibility. But if you just wait a few weeks and retire in January instead, you unlock a full 12 months of eligibility. That is a massive strategic advantage.
So, when you put all these pieces together, the returning ghost money, the traps to avoid, the incredible grace year, what's the real takeaway? It's that you need to shift your whole mindset from thinking about short-term tactics to playing the long game.
Instead of seeing withheld benefits as a penalty to be avoided at all costs, you've got to start seeing them as an investment in your future self. I mean, if you're healthy and you're planning on a long retirement, continuing to work and having some benefits withheld is basically like making a forced investment. You are effectively buying a larger inflation-adjusted paycheck from the government for the rest of your life.
So at the end of the day, the retirement earnings test isn't some big wall designed to stop you from working. It's really more like a maze. And once you have the map, you don't have to fear it. You can navigate it. So the real question you've got to ask yourself is this: is your strategy just built for today's paycheck? Or are you using these rules to build a secure retirement you really want for tomorrow?